If you're anything like me, you love the style of vintage watches, but fear the vintage watch minefield. The thought of buying a vintage watch can be daunting in a world where fake watches, Franken watches and shady sellers are never too far away. So when a watch comes along that offers vintage styling in a modern package, we can't help but get excited. The Q Timex 1979 reissue in 2019 was massively hyped, and for good reason. It was a cool and fun retro watch. Though the hype has mostly died away, Timex still occasionally releases new Q Timex models. I'm a big fan of the brand, and this one really captured my attention. This is the Q Timex Vintage Hodinkee Limited Edition. It combines the case from a Q Timex 1979 reissue with a redesigned bezel, a classic mid-20th century dress watch style pipe and dial, and an expansion band bracelet. Before we take a closer look, I will address the elephant in the room. Yes, this is a Hodinkee collaboration. I know there is a lot of negative sentiment about the company, but I'm neither a lover nor a hater. I do read and watch some of their content, but I'm pretty neutral, so I bought this watch with an open mind. The case is made from stainless steel, with a high polish finish except the edges that meet the lugs, and the bezel which are brushed. The contrasting finishing gives it a more classy look. It measures 38mm in diameter, with a thickness of around 11.5mm, and a lug width of 18mm. The lug-to-lug measurement is around 44 or 45mm. It has a bi-directional friction bezel with no loom, and a coined edge, and a small unsigned push-pull crown. There is a stainless steel screwed on caseback with the iconic Q Timex battery hatch and Hodinkee branding. The water resistance is just 50 metres, so you'll want to avoid the water with this one. It has a wonderful domed acrylic crystal covering the grey sunburst pipe and dial. The crosshair pattern is broken up by the applied Q Timex branding at the 12 o'clock position, with the Hodinkee branding and water resistance rating at the 6 o'clock position. Of course, it would look better without the Hodinkee text, but it isn't really that noticeable. There are loomed pips corresponding to the applied hour markers, which sit within the step-down outer edge of the dial, and this really is the highlight of the watch. The pipe and dial is a dated design element reminiscent of 1950s watches, like the Omega Constellation. But if it's your thing, you will love it. There is no day-date window to spoil the symmetry of the dial, which I really like. The hour and minute hands are a baton style with loom, and there is a lollipop seconds hand again with loom. Surprisingly, the seconds hand alignment is pretty good. The movement is a quartz Miyota M230, and it's fine, not noticeably loud or unrefined. It hacks and there is no ghost date position, which is a relief as I know this will bother some people. The battery should last for about 3 years and can be quickly and easily changed using a coin to access the battery hatch on the back of the case. The expansion band bracelet is another quirky feature. It's also made of stainless steel and looks fantastic with its matte finish. The way the light bounces off each individual link is reminiscent of other integrated bracelet watches like the Tissot PRX. As you might expect, the quality is mediocre, so it might pull a few hairs, but it's easy to adjust without tools, which is a big plus. You can flip it over and take out as many links as you like. It integrates well with the brushed edges of the case and tapers nicely, and no clasp gives it a seamless look. How it holds up over time remains to be seen. So what's my verdict? Well, it's a mishmash of the 50s, 60s and 70s, but somehow it ties together really well. It feels like a proper watch and not a cash grab as collaborations can often be. The pipe and dial elegantly combines with the domed acrylic, and I really like the stainless steel bezel, especially since it ditches the black plastic spacer found on the regular model. I think I do prefer full metal bezels in stainless steel or aluminium rather than ceramic as they just give off a more classic vibe. The day-date window is also gone, which was another smart move. And the dimensions are almost perfect too. It will work on all but the largest wrists. The thing with Timex is you know what you're going to get. It's going to be cheap and cheerful, with reasonable levels of quality. I own a few now, and the key is to get a healthy discount, so every time the bracelet nips your arm hair, it jogs your memory, and you remember that you got a great deal, and the pain suddenly fades away. As you can see, I already have the retro Q Timex 1979 reissue with the Pepsi bezel. I wouldn't normally buy two of the same watch, but this is so different, I have no qualms about owning both. Its monochrome colourway is a bit more grown up than the playful, almost immature Pepsi. I can't really decide which one is my favourite out of the two. I think it would have been a bigger hit if Timex had released it on its own through its website. But collaborations are obviously big business for Timex. I'm sure I read before that this is a limited run of 2,500 pieces, but I can't seem to find that nugget of information anywhere now. If anyone knows for certain, please let me know in the comments down below. A lot of watch nuts are turned off by so-called limited editions, but part of the fun for me is the thrill of the chase, and bagging a limited edition watch for a great price is an amazing feeling. I think watch enthusiasts can be quite tribal. We gravitate towards the same brands and the same models, but I try to avoid that where I can. I like the thought of exclusivity and wearing a watch that few others own, even if it's a cheap and cheerful Timex. Don't get me wrong though, it is really annoying when a watch you really like is limited and the scalpers are all over it like a rash, but patience is a virtue. This retailed for $189 which at current rates converts to about £157, a typical price for a Q Timex. But you also need to factor in shipping and import costs if you're in the UK like me. I paid just £129 plus shipping for this watch, which I think is a ridiculously good price, certainly much lower than other recent eBay sales which I have seen. I tried to get one a few times before, but the price always went a bit too high for me. I still can't believe that I got it for such a low price, especially as it's in mint condition. It's like new, as you can see. It just shows that you can still get brilliant bargains on eBay if you're patient. If you're more of a fan of other Q Timex reissues, like some of these wacky ones here, you can often pick those up even more cheaply, sometimes for less than half retail, which is bonkers, and they're just great fun for the money. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you enjoy these reviews of quirky and interesting watches, please consider liking and subscribing, it really does help. You can also follow me on Instagram at @_holecut. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.